What's up? Hey, hello, everyone. Wow. So today we are back going to be talking about the challenge season 36, Double Agents, episode 13. And so this week we only had a 1 hour long episode, so like 45 minutes. So my name is Rachel.
And I'm Alyssa, and I feel like this episode, it was only an hour long, but it felt like the longest hour of my life. Because it just I feel like nothing substantial happened. And we've been saying that for the past 4 weeks. So I'm really starting to get kind of bored of this.
Oh my gosh. Like last podcast, I literally remember us talking like, oh, this is sort of weird that they would have one cliffhanger episode 2 weeks ago. Last week, they would just have the Crater Challenge and then just show us the Big TCT feud drama happening for the rest of the 90-minute episode. And we were saying, oh, why don't they like shorten it? But maybe that's not possible to do like a 1 hour episode 1 week because you have a 90-minute time slot with MTV. But apparently you can have a 1 hour episode even though your usual time slot is a 90 minutes. So I feel like they should have just made last week's episode the 1 hour episode and just shortened all the big T, cut the spa day, get rid of all of that, and then you would have this week be 90 minutes and you start like typical, oh, they come back from the crater, you go into the challenge, deliberation, next daily challenge and all of that. But then, I don't know, just the timing, at least now it's back to normal because this week's episode was shorter. So it'd be a regular 90-minute episode next week. But I'm like, I don't know. This episode just grinded my gears on so many levels.
Yeah, I just feel like here's another thing about this episode that I hated. So they had this disgusting food challenge where they had to eat ram's testicles and then something else weird. I honestly didn't pay that much attention, but half the contestants puked. And rather than just cutting away, they decided to show us someone puking from several angles, and it was a solid 2 minutes of this episode I feel like was just barf. And I was trying to eat a snack while I was watching this episode. I didn't want to see that. I didn't need to see that to understand that it was gross.
Yeah, no more snacking for you. Like, I don't know. I guess sort of bad for people that like have reactions to visually seeing people vomit, or like just hearing people gag can like induce other people to start to vomit. So I was surprised there was no like warning like, oh, we're going to show this, it's not even going to be blurred out. Or sometimes when people vomit on TV, it'll be like off camera but you can still hear them gagging, but you don't physically see like Corey's vomit spewing out of his mouth, and like his head was back, and I'm like, yo, he's about to choke or something. Like, we don't need that from 4 angles.
Yeah, and I wasn't that surprised because earlier in the season, Kyle puked after his crater challenge. And so, I didn't really expect them to, cut away or anything. But also, the whole different angles thing was just, what the hell? I, fast forwarded through that segment of the episode because I was like, I don't want to listen to people gagging for however many minutes. So
Speaking of the daily challenge, last week we thought maybe it was an escape room. Alyssa, it was like a haunted house, I think you were saying. So I guess it was sort of a mix of the two. From last week's cliffhanger of them hyping up this challenge so much, TJ is like, oh, this is a night in hell. This is your worst nightmare. It's going to be terrible. To come to this week and literally no one participating, it was such a letdown. And I mean, it does make sense if you aren't in danger because they think it's going to be a women's elimination day. Everyone is just assuming, oh, we're throwing Nany in, we're throwing Gabby in because they are two women who don't have their gold skulls yet. Big T doesn't get to go in because she doesn't have a partner. So no one was participating, which I guess makes sense because why force yourself to eat all of that food and to like do all of the other challenge parts of this challenge if you don't have any like risk, or there, you know, you're not going to be rewarded or anything. So it makes sense not to participate. But I feel like that's where the flaw in this daily challenge was, because there was no risk, there was no reward. Like, no one was participating. So it's just so terrible to watch.
yeah, it was gross enough and unnecessary enough that people would opt out. I feel like if it had just been the escape room part of it, people would have been fine, but because it had that gross element to it, it wasn't. something people were interested in doing, just because that's really not what you sign up for when you go on the challenge. Like, you don't sign up to eat ram's testicles. You sign up to do like being strong question mark. So I get why people wouldn't want to participate, especially if they weren't in danger.
Yeah, they need to like design the challenge in a way where this doesn't happen. So, like we said in previous podcasts, like in the episodes where no one was participating in like the helicopter fight cargo net challenge or like the ice pill challenge, people just started to stand around. It's like they maybe need to do the thing where if you're last place, you're automatically thrown into the crater, or like last 2 or 3 places, you are up for elimination, something like that to entice people to participate. Because if everyone is just like, yeah, TJ, I don't want to do this today, and there's no ramifications because you're not going to take away their vote because everyone was just going to vote in the 2 girls this week, like nothing bad happened to them for not participating. And like other gross food challenges on like the challenge or Survivor, it's for immunity, it's for like potentially other gross food challenges on the challenge. They did it to get back into the game, so it's like you want to participate because you want to get back into the game, you don't want to get eliminated. So like this, it's just like there's no incentive to participate, which totally sucks because like to have just one team be so far ahead, and at least Gabby and Corey were trying, but like there's no point if Casey and Leroy are like going to get it and you like Casey and Leroy, they're in your alliance, so like, oh, I'm not going to try now because my friend is winning, so like, sorry TJ.
I just feel like one of the things about saying like last place will automatically be thrown into the crater, then that's an incentive for people like CT or like, I don't know, Darrell, who might not get otherwise put into the crater, to then go in automatically. Because it's like, if I feel like it's much harder to win than it is to come in last place, because everyone else wants to win. And if you talk to your partner and you're like, hey, I know this doesn't sound like a very good idea, but I'm worried I'm never going to get to go in unless I get put in automatically. Can we throw this challenge? Like, that would be something that realistically you could do. So I feel like that's a lot easier to sell to a partner as well than like, okay, we need to do super, super well this time so we can be double agents and I can put myself in. So
yeah, I think like previous seasons, they have, okay, last place goes automatically into elimination. You just can't combine that with having the gold skull twist, I think, because like what you're saying, then we're going to have all these people trying to throw every challenge. And then it's just literally going to be like this, where no one is trying because everyone wants to lose the challenge. No one cares about winning the challenge. So I think if they were to create those incentives of like, people, you need to participate, you're not going to slack off in these challenges, then you either like have the last place go in, last few places are up for elimination, maybe that's better to cause people to stop like being not participating. But I don't think you can mix gold skull and last place, because then like what you're saying, no one would try also because they want to go in and get their gold skull for at least some point in the game. Maybe now people would try because they don't want to get thrown in so they can keep their skull.
I just feel like also part of this is like a casting thing where, of course, if you cast like the same 50 people in various configurations for several seasons, then they're going to have really strong alliances where they feel like confident being like, oh, this person's definitely on my side. They'll definitely put me in if we ask. Because I feel like on shows like Survivor, where they only ever play like 1 season together or 2 seasons together, even if you are really close to someone, you don't necessarily have that level of trust where you're like, okay, they're my ally, so they're going to do something good for me, you know? So I feel like part of it is just the thing where the vets have such strong relationships with each other, and those relationships I feel like are very rarely tested. So it's like, why bother if your shot at winning is easily someone else?
Mm-hmm. We all know Leroy will have Nany's back kind of thing. So yeah, that does make it, I guess, more easy for people to not care about the daily challenges, not necessarily care about when they're going to go into the crater if they have a lot of friends in the house. So with this challenge, they start with holding a medicine ball, then they have to eat all of this food, and then you have to do a math problem. At the math problem, it was interesting because Leroy and Casey, they got help from Cam. And so, like, I guess, whatever, it's fine because all of the other teams gave up. So it doesn't really matter that Cam is helping another team right now and she's helping her partner, like her boyfriend partner, out. So it's like, okay, whatever. But I feel like if you were to do this kind of helping other teams in the final, I feel like then you get into this sort of sticky situation, sort of like in the most recent season of The Amazing Race. It's like when teams start to help each other, it's just sort of annoying to watch, and it seems like it's not fair for other teams. But like, I don't know, The Amazing Race US this season, they all just like had an alliance and they helped each other. Then it's like, yo, this isn't like Team Alliance. You're in a 2-person team. Like, stop.
Yeah, then it starts to become more of a popularity contest than like anything else. And that's kind of dumb because the point of this game is not who's the most popular, or it shouldn't be. So,
which, yeah, social game, popularity is part of social game, but I feel like there's got to be some kind of rules about like helping other people or like cheating, I guess, but this was just helping other people in 2 partner challenges in the future. Or maybe there was a rule, but they didn't really care this time because Leroy and Casey were so far ahead.
Yeah, I'd be curious what the official rules were, but...
which The Amazing Race doesn't seem to care about. So it would be interesting to learn about the challenge rules for that. So after you do the math problem, then you find a hidden key, you scratch a blackboard, and then you dig for some tools, and then you win. So Casey and Leroy have gotten another double agent status win. I feel like potentially the only draw to win this double agent status, like Casey and Leroy said, was so that you wouldn't get stolen from the people going into the crater, so you would keep your partnership intact. And so if you didn't really care about losing your partner, like we heard Fessy talk about, then you have no incentive to win. So that's just another thing that led people to not try in the challenge.
Yeah, I feel like they're really the only partnerships left that are super strong is Casey and Leroy, right? I guess you could argue that CT and Cam are like a strong partnership, but not really in the sense that like they've been together for a while or trust each other or anything, just that they were both strong players. So
I would say, yeah, Amber B and Darrell would probably want to stick together. We saut both of them
totally
pick each other. Yeah, both of them picked each other twice now, so that seems like a strong pair. For Cam and CT, at least we saw them sort of fighting this round, and in the preview for next week, they were fighting again. So it does seem like, I saw on Reddit, someone had a really interesting comment where they're like, Cam and CT are both alpha. And so what Kyle said last week, where Kyle is a follower, I feel like that was really spot on because Cam and Kyle worked because you have a leader and a follower. But it seems like Cam and CT, even though they're both super strong competitors on their own, coming together because they both want to be the leader, they're having some friction, some problems here.
Yeah, and I feel like even 2 followers works better than 2 leaders because then they just will never butt heads. So, yeah, I think that'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, I guess 2 followers, it's like you sort of don't really get anything done. I would say like Kyle and Nany are 2 followers, and we saw them partnered at the beginning, and they sort of like didn't really like being each other's partners because then they had no direction. So I feel like the sweet spot is a leader and a follower. So the leader will feel good. They'll tell you what to do. And then the follower will have direction and be like, yes, I like that strategy. Like, let's go with it. And I think that's the golden ratio that you want.
Who out of Leroy and Casey is the leader? Because I feel like the reason I made the 2 followers comment is because I feel like Leroy and Casey, neither of them is like super needs to be alpha.
I guess Cam as like
Cam is their like surrogate leader.
Yeah, because I feel like, Cam and Leroy are going to do the same thing probably every vote, or like they would talk about their votes if they are throwing their vote or something like that. So I think by way of analysis that maybe Cam is their leader.
Interesting. But yeah, so like we said, Casey and Leroy win the challenge, and then I feel like the rest of the episode was kind of just predictable from then on. Nany and Gabby were like, hey, can you please put us in? And then the house vote was Gabby, and Leroy and Casey voted to put Nany in against Gabby. And I feel like the only thing that was like, I hated this part of the episode so much, was when Fessy was talking about how he's like into Gabby, except for not really, because he's actually into Tori, but she's taken. Like, we had
Yo,
like 5 minutes we spent on that sequence, and all 5 minutes of it were extremely uncomfortable.
100%. We see the scene where Fessy and Gabby are kissing again, and then I don't know. I just felt like the whole scene with Corey and Fessy was sort of uncomfortable or sort of wrong to keep in the episode from a production standpoint, because it's like Tori isn't even in this season anymore. So it seems sort of like rude that you're keeping this in because it's like personal information. Corey is predicting how her relationship, how her engagement with her fiance Jordan is going to go. When Jordan isn't even on this season either, Tori is no longer on the season, so she can't like speak on it, she can't defend herself on stuff, and I just feel like to talk about, oh, someone's engagement is going to end and then you can date this person, it just seems sort of wrong to include that when the person isn't there.
Yeah. It just, exactly what you said. The fact that they like speculated about Tori and Jordan's relationship, especially because didn't they actually end up breaking up?
Yeah, whatever Corey said, like, actually turned out to be true, and Fessy and Tori did date, but I feel like including this doesn't really help the, like, cheating rumors. Yeah.
It just, like, it's unnecessarily messy because, like, yeah, maybe there's some showmances in the challenge, but when you bring in, like, people's actual lives outside of, like, the challenge, that's when it gets skeezy. Because it wasn't comfortable to watch, especially because the implication was like, yeah, Fessy likes Tori, but he'll settle for Gabby.
Mm-hmm. It's
So
like production keeping it in. I guess you can say, oh, they talked about it on the TV show. They're under contract. Everything that they can say like can be used in the TV show, but it just seems like, yeah, Tori wasn't there.
If I were Tori, I would be pissed off.
Yeah, but it sort of seems like Tori maybe doesn't mind that much because her and Anissa in the Challenge After Show podcast that they do, like, I guess, I don't know, didn't mind too much about it. But yeah, I feel like personally, I would be a little bit like peeved because it's like you're going through a public breakup with someone that you got engaged with on this TV show, and then your engagement is ending and people are like speculating about cheating and stuff. I feel like this just does not help the rumors, especially like breaking off an engagement has got to be tough.
Yeah, I just felt like it crossed a line that I didn't even really know was a line until they crossed it. Like, if you asked me if I would theoretically be okay with it, I'd be like, maybe. But once it was on my TV, I was extremely uncomfortable. And then later in the episode, Fessy talks about, like, oh, yeah, I'm sad to see Gabby go because I was kind of into her. And I was like, are you, though? Are you really?
It's like, I don't know. Yeah, like Gabby and Ashley Mitchell, who he also kissed, are like second choices to Tori, and then it's like, why even say something like that? You don't need to bring it up. Like, just keep your mouth quiet. If you wanted to like hang out with her or date her after the fact, after like the breakup happens or whatever, like fine, like talking with your boys about it. It's just like very like grimy, very skeezy. I feel like production should have just not stuck it in there. We don't need to see that. That is like not fun or good drama to look at.
Yeah, what was even the purpose of it?
A love triangle, I guess, between Gabby and someone who isn't even on the show anymore, but it like was sort of weird, crappy also because it seemed like Gabby was very interested in Fessy. Gabby was invested in their budding romance, and then to have him like bad-mouthing her in confessionals and to his friends, and I'm like, really, really sucks for Gabby, but it does seem like Gabby is in a happy relationship now.
Good for her. So, yeah, the episode basically went as planned. I feel like the one thing we got a lot of was Gabby saying that she regrets not going to the hall brawl against Amber M. And then also people talking about how Nany and Gabby is like actually a pretty even matchup. Like, it wasn't like Gabby and potentially Amber M, where going into hall brawl with someone who's like half your size is a pretty easy win. So
the biggest mistake of the season is Gabby not throwing herself in 2 weeks ago ish to go against Amber M. You know, just thinking like, oh, how different could the season have been? Gabby wins against Amber M, then we maybe see Amber B and Nany go into this like ring physical running challenge together. And so I think that would be interesting, but you know, that didn't happen. I think something that I was sort of annoyed by was just the house laying down and being like, oh, these two women don't have their skulls yet, so we're 100% throwing Gabby and Nany in. Like in the deliberation, everyone was just like, yep, sounds good, friends. Like that's how it's going to be, which I guess makes sense because like why are you going to throw another woman down there who has her skull to go in and like do that kind of stuff? Like then you're just burning bridges. Like might as well throw in the two women who don't have their gold skulls yet. But I don't know. I feel like maybe because of the amount of people that got DQ'd and left this season, they have all of these extra skulls that they have to get rid of. But like, if there's no pressure on you to get a skull, because once it gets down to the nitty gritty, there's one skull left, and we're automatically going to throw you two in because you're the only two people eligible and you're the only two people without a gold skull. It's sort of like, what was the point of going in early then? What was the point of like fighting to win the daily challenge if everyone is going to get a chance at getting their gold skull? They should have some kind of purge. Yeah, have a purge, eliminate some people, and maybe it's because so many people left out of not getting eliminated through DQing. So it's like, yo, there's something wrong here. Why does everyone get a chance? You should not get a chance if you wait this long, and then it's like, ha, shame on you. You should have went in earlier.
yeah, I feel like I wonder if it would be more contentious if Big T wasn't the rogue agent, because then there would be 3 women who all want to go in to get a skull. But even then, I feel like that still wouldn't be that contentious because Big T would obviously lose, I guess, would be the house thinking. Because people, I think, still see her as pretty weak, and I feel like she would probably lose in that challenge against both Gabby and Nany. But I don't know.
Maybe it could have helped having another person up for elimination to go into the crater. Like if Big T was still able to participate in the crater challenge, like Devin was when Nicole left for her arm injury, when Devin got voted in without a partner. So it's like, why can't Big T get voted in without a partner? It does seem like a little bit, I guess, really sucky for Big T because this is the last gold skull available. Now, if Big T wants a gold skull, she's going to have to take it from someone else. And so it just really sucks that she was ineligible for this challenge.
Yeah, this whole thing was just a mess. And then I feel like we've been talking about Fessy a lot, but I feel like this is worth saying. Why were both of the girls considering becoming partners with Fessy if they won in the Crater Challenge? Because I feel like Fessy is not that great of a partner. Like, yeah, he's a stronger dude compared to, like, Kyle, but CT is right there. Darrell is right there. They're both actual champions as opposed to someone who came in last in a final. So
100%. See, that is what I was thinking. I'm like, Nany, why pick Fessy? Fessy got last in last year's final, in last season's final. Like, what makes him so good, especially if there's puzzles in the final? Like, why not pick someone who has won before, has won multiple seasons before in CT or Darrell? And it's not even like, oh yeah, you know, Kyle and Corey, they suck, even though they've never won, like they suck kind of thing also. Fessy has never won also, but then Kyle and Corey both came in second and third, respectively, in last season's final. So they both beat Fessy. So it's like, you're going to pick Fessy, who came in last year, which like, it's still good to make it to the final. Like he's a good competitor, but like, I don't know. For what reason, make it make sense that for some reason, every single woman on this show wants to be partners with Fessy out of all the guys left.
Yeah. I can't make it make sense because I'm also confused.
It would make sense. Okay, I would think Nany would pick Leroy because they were friends for a long time. They've known each other for a while. That could be a good partnership. But Leroy is taken. He's the double agent. He can't go and get stolen. So I would be like, okay, C-tier Darrell, you won this challenge and you're going to steal Fessy, which now I feel like Alyssa is probably going to be sort of pissed off at you because we saw a scene where Alyssa and Nany are talking and Alyssa says, like, I'm going to be mad if you steal my partner from me kind of thing. So it's like, why piss off someone? I feel like if Nany picks CT, you make everyone in the house happy because then Cam can go back to Kyle and they want that. Cam and CT are fighting. They are having problems. And then you get CT and then you make Cam happy and Cam and Leroy hold a lot of power in the house and you make Kyle happy.
But you don't make Fessy happy, which I feel like is also important because Fessy basically was like, yeah, Anissa's going to use me to drag her through the final. So I don't know.
Alyssa just needs some new friends, 100%. Like, she and Nany are both vets of the show. Alyssa just gets, like, shat on by everyone on the show in so many confessionals. And it's like, yo, that really sucks probably to watch it back if, like, you're friends with these people in real life and then they're shatting on you throughout the show, saying that you're weak and whatnot. It's, like, gotta hurt your ego a little bit there. I don't know. I'm like, dang, to, like, snake your friend like that sort of sucks.
I just feel like Alyssa just maybe needs to be done with the challenge. If you've played for like 14 seasons and you've never won, maybe it's just time to hang up the towel. Like, I feel like it's a kind of like emotional masochism to keep doing this to yourself where you keep almost getting to the win and then not getting it. Like, either you need to significantly change something or you just need to accept it's not going to happen. Because I feel like...
Oh, yeah, especially because this is the same story every single season. She gets really close to the end. She's crying to people, like, don't throw me into this last challenge. I want to make it to the final. She's always, like, 1 or 2 spots away from the final and just doesn't make it there.
Yeah, and I feel like it's one of those things where the challenge isn't like some other reality TV shows where there's a lot of, like, last-minute twists that can maybe screw you over. Like, there's no tribe swaps on the challenge. So I feel like it's one of those things where Alyssa could, like, I don't know, work out more or something if she, like, wanted to be seen as a stronger partner or something like that. So I guess I'm just kind of confused what the disconnect is, where if you keep doing the same thing over and over, why are you expecting a different result?
Yeah, I guess it's weird because Alyssa isn't, like, weak because, you know, she won that first daily challenge. She picked Fessy. She won against Tori this season, and people say that Tori is, like, really strong, although some people say that Tori is, like, overrated or whatnot. But, like, you know, Alyssa has won challenges this season, and so it's just something. There is a weird disconnect there where, like, for some reason, all of the other people in the house are like, yeah, she's the weakest person here kind of thing, which maybe she is compared to the women left in the house, but it's not like she totally sucks and she's never won any challenges like some other people in the house that don't win at all.
Yeah, I guess, I don't know. I feel bad for her, but also at some point you do gotta just own up that maybe it's time to quit. So,
which is not going to happen. I think she's on the rumored cast for next season, and they're filming an OG season right now, and she's on that cast. So, Alyssa, you get 2 more seasons of her.
Jesus. Hopefully she wins one of them.
Maybe. So Nany wins her first individual elimination win in 10 seasons. So that is good for Nany. It was a nice moment, you know, Nany not giving up. Even though she lost the first round in this challenge, she wasn't letting it get to her head because I feel like that mental block is something that often comes up for Nany where she, like, psychs herself out and then she loses. So it was a sweet moment.
Yeah, I felt like it was nice. She cried when she won and I was like, oh, that was sweet. So, yeah.
Yeah, but another one of those vets that have been on here for a long time. So first individual win, that's cool. But Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think with Gabby and Nany, like you were saying, they both put up a good fight. I think Gabby proved herself as a rookie. I think she had a good fight for this challenge. You know, it was all about who could get to the ring first, and then whoever got to the ring first had the upper hand in this challenge. So I would want to see Gabby come back again. But also, I'm like, Fessy is like coming back for every season now. So I don't know if I want to see them together.
Yeah, I feel like I would feel awkward seeing them together, knowing like the whole relationship thing, unless they could like put it behind them, I guess. But even then, it's still kind of gross because I feel like it would be Gabby who would have to like do the putting behind. So,
Yeah, I feel like Gabby can put it behind her, like she's in a happy relationship now, but it's just like, grimy that like he was saying that she was the second choice, you know, the fruit that I have left or whatnot. So I'm like, just bring Gabby back. Don't bring Fessy back.
exactly. So,
The Gabby
yeah.
Corey curse is real. So Corey loses another partner. And like we said, Nany picks Fessy. Fessy is now partners with Nany. He's probably happy he got rid of Alyssa. Alyssa picks Kyle. Kyle is not too happy with that. And Corey and Big T are now partners. I thought it was really funny at the end. We saw Big T for once this episode, and she says, should I pack now? Like, let me do an exorcism on this relationship because she does not want to go home. So I'm like, that was pretty funny.
Yeah, I just feel like Corey really did get the whole Black Widow thing down. Because this is now what, his 7th partner who goes home?
Something. And I think to not pick Corey also makes sense for like Nany and whoever, and Alyssa, who also gets to pick their partner, because Corey doesn't have a skull. And so if you were to be partnered with Corey, then you are probably going into the crater next week. And that's a little bit risky because TJ might say, oh, it's a double elimination. Again, 2 of you are going home. And then the women would have to go home also. And so that would sort of suck.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I just feel like this episode was resolved, I guess. I am just glad it's over. I'm not really sure how there's going to be 5 more episodes in this season, but that's okay.
Yeah, 5 more. So this was us talking about the challenge season 36, episode 13. Definitely let us know down below, what are your thoughts on the escape room daily challenge? Were you sort of annoyed with all the puke? Were you annoyed that no one tried in the challenge? What are your thoughts with Nany picking Fessy as her new partner? Let us know down below. And so we do love reading all your comments and interacting with you all. So thank you all so much for watching, and we will see you all next week.